Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. And today's recommendation is the 6888. Let me just start off by saying great job on this movie to Tyler Perry. Casting amazing, acting amazing, costumes, just, the set, the way they covered the subject matter, the way the actresses and the actors, you can just say actors, all of them, the way they were able to make us feel like we were back in those, at that time, that make us feel like we were back in those times and make us be able to understand and just be able to absorb that time frame in a manner that also connected with our emotions enough that we were able to respect, empathize, and in some ways, for some people, relate to them. Let's start off with talking about the lady of the hour, Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington, undoubtedly a star. And I think that choosing her for the role was whoever's choice that was. I guess it was Tyler's. I'm not, Tyler's, of course. But however she came to be in that position to play major Charity, I think that was probably what catapulted this to be what it is, what it became, which was a great movie that I've just seen so many people appreciate. And I'm so happy that Tyler is getting the respect that he deserves on this one and that people are seeing his talent through this film. Now, we want to definitely talk about all of the people who were in the movie, not just, a few. Not all. We want to talk about a few. I mean, I meant to say we want to talk about a few of the people who are in the movie and not all because I don't want this video to be too long. But, focusing on Kerry Washington. Now, listen, Kerry Washington, I have been watching Kerry Washington since, oh my gosh, there was a movie where she was like a drummer in high school. She played the drums. I can't even think of the name of the movie right now. But is that no? Let's take it back even further. I think I want to go to. I think Save the Last Dance probably was the. Yeah, I think Save the Last Dance was probably the first. Was that the first one? That may have been the first movie I saw her in. Maybe. I don't know. There may have been another one before that. But let's just say Kerry Washington has been acting for a very long time. And she has always seemed to be a person who respects the art of acting. And she seems like she deserves to be in her position. And this is what she was sent here to do, kind of thing. I think she has elevated. I love to see it. So when I see her in something like this, I'm not surprised that she pulled it off and did such an amazing job. I'm not surprised at all because I've seen her in so many other things where she just excelled. And I do believe that she is, I say this a lot, but I'm definitely going to say it by her. About her, I think she is a person who does not get enough credit. I think she's very underrated, and I think that she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. So, shout out to Kerry Washington. I think she's an amazing actress, and I think she did an amazing job leading the film. Moving on to the next lady who was in the movie, and I know her from more. Gosh, you know what? I don't even have the movies listed here that I've seen her in, but I have seen her in other movies. And she always does a good job in her acting as well. I feel like when I watch her though, she seems like a more new artist. She seems that she's more like up and coming to me. So I think that we have yet to see her potential, like how far she's going to go. I think she has room to grow. And, I think that she's going to develop and become an even better actress as time goes on. But not taking anything away from her performance in this movie, I just feel like she probably will even get bigger roles and do more in her acting career than what we've seen thus far. She did a good job on this role, though. She also played, basically one of the main characters as well. Lena, I think the last name was Derricote. And she actually, how do I put this? She actually just took the time to, I think, study that era because she was one of the ones who did an amazing job of seemingly perfecting that time frame where it felt very old. It didn't feel modern at all. And I think I've seen her in other films where she plays, older characters in movies that set place back in the olden days, and she always does a good job with doing whatever that era is, whether it's the 60s, the 70s, or whatever. She does a good job on that. So I did like that she was able to do that. I think she showed her vulnerable side. I think she brought, you could just tell she brought a little bit more to the table than I've seen her bring in other films. And I think she came to really, really put her all into this role. And she did a great job. So, kudos to her. There was, if I could say, there was just a couple of scenes where she needed to be emotional, where I think a little bit more could have been put into it. But aside from that, I think she did a good job on her role. I have to say um, my personal favorite in the movie was, believe it or not, she was not the actual star. She was, just one of the ladies that was in the show, and her name is, she played Johnny May, and her name is Shanice Williams. I thought she did such a great job. I loved her role. I just really did. The reason why I loved her role, that first of all, that's my first time seeing this lady, but I loved her role so much because I feel like she's nothing like the person she played. I also feel like she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. She looks like a doll in the face. She's so, so pretty on top of all of that. And I just thought she did a great job. I thought she was almost like a show stealer with her little role, her parts and her little things that she did, her little antics. She definitely captivated the screen, and I hope to see her in other films. I think she has a lot of potential, and I think she's someone we need to look out for. Hopefully, Tyler Perry and other people will cast her in other roles because she did a wonderful job. And aside from that, guys, it wasn't just those three. It was the whole cast that really, really, really came together. They worked together. When I watched this film, I felt like the camaraderie on set was probably amazing because they just really carried everything out so well. Now, enough about that part. I'm going to go ahead and touch on the film. What I learned from this film, so this is a recommendation channel. If you watch my videos, you know it's recommendation. So I'm not here to do spoilers and ruin it for you. But I will say this. They basically, the overview of it is basically they're a black female troop. And they're in the army. Is it the army? You know what? That's the only thing. I think they're in the army, yeah. So they're in the army, And they basically, I think it was the Army. You got, comment below if it's not the Army, but I mean, that's not, that's neither here nor there right now. But I do believe it was the Army. You had Kerry Washington as Major Charity Adams. She was the head of this female black troop. And they were all, the funny thing about it is, what I learned is a lot of times when when people discriminate against a group of people for whatever reason, in this case, the color of their skin simply, and also them being female, you almost turn them into a bigger threat because they, in their heads, they're thinking like, we got to work 5 times as hard. We got to do this. We got to do this. So what happens is they become better than your best person. So in turn, they become unstoppable, if you will. These women were given a task of something to do, and that was the whole point. So basically, there was a situation where they were given this task of something that they had to do, something that was just very, in their eyes, seemed, when they first heard about it, seemed like, what? Like it just seemed like so minimal. Like this is not a real, job for the Army. However, they didn't see them as worthy of doing anything that meant anything, if you will. But in the end, because they were so strong, they ended up proving everyone wrong. And by trying to discriminate against them and hurt them, they actually made them end up looking better, is what I'm saying, because they worked 5 times as hard to just make sure that they got it done right, because they knew all of the odds were already stacked up against them. And it's funny because in life, I don't know if I've actually been in situations, not like them, but in situations that I can relate to what they went through. And it's like, at the end, because I was in that situation, I was at the top. And it basically, like on jobs, like on career wise, because you want to make sure that you prove, it's like you have to prove yourself so much. And you go to work and you see other people and they're not stressing, they're just doing the bare minimum and they're still getting praise. But at the end of the day, when the month is over, and let's say whatever field you're in and the numbers come out, let's say you're in sales, your sales are always going to be at the top. And then the people who are doing the minimum, it's like, wait a minute, they're not even making their goals. So eventually people are going to start recognizing you and realizing, oh my God, this girl's a superstar kind of thing, but they doubted you in the beginning and they treated you a certain way. But it's like you always win, because you're going to win because you have worked so hard that now you can easily work circles around other people and it's effortless to you because you put in the work, whereas they haven't. So for them, they're still just playing catch up. And they're playing catch up and they still can't catch up to you, and they still can't even meet the minimum standards of what they need to do to be successful in their own right, if that makes sense. So a lot of times when people are trying to hurt you, even though it's not right, but life is not fair. I'm just here to tell you, life isn't fair, but this is what happens a lot of the time. A lot of times it backfires, and that's exactly what happened here. And because life is not fair either way, it's good to know that a lot of times you get your reward either way. In the end, you end up being the one that's rewarded, and it works. Anyway, hopefully I don't know if that made sense to you guys. I'm not saying, and I just want to clarify, I want to say it is not right for people to be treated in an unfair, manner, or to be treated unequally. All of that is wrong. But we all know that we don't live in a fair world. It just is what it is. So that's where I'm coming from when I made that statement. But moving on, Tyler Perry, I'm a person who supports Tyler Perry. I think Tyler Perry is very talented. And I think, and I hope that, I shouldn't say I think, I should say I hope that Tyler Perry gets some recognition for this film. This is not the first film that he did, in my opinion, that was very, very well done. Tyler Perry on this one, though, I think this is another level. I think the budget was on a different level. I think everything in this one was on a level to where he should get some recommendations. Can we get some award nominations on this one? Can we get the recognition that, is deserved on this one? I hope to see Tyler get, and the actors in the film getting some nods, getting some nominations, getting some awards. It's deserved. It's a great, great film. Guys, check it out. It's called, I'm sorry, it's on Netflix. I always keep forgetting to tell you guys where the film is at, that I watch. It's on Netflix. It's called the 6888. And speaking of Netflix, Netflix is on a roll right now. I am a person who usually will sign up for Netflix for like a month, and then I'm out, and I'll come back when something else comes out that I like. But they have actually I've been hanging on because they've been really supplying the content, the films, the series, everything that I enjoy. So Netflix is doing pretty good right now. So they're on a good streak, and they have a lot of good stuff on there. I'm not even caught up. I have so many things I need to watch, to get caught up. But yeah, I'm enjoying Netflix right now. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful new year. Today is December 31st. I'm going to upload this video today, and I'm also recording it today. So happy new year to everyone. I hope next year brings you a lot of joy, peace, and prosperity. I hope that, everything goes well for you, and it's a great year. I hope it's a great year for all of us, actually. And I just hope things get better in areas where they need to improve, etc., etc., etc. And I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Until next time, peace.